Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to answer the question how I went from garbage to God in Fortnite Battle Royale. Now this is really interesting for me to talk about because I started playing the game back in October before anyone even knew about it. And some of my most viewed videos on my channel are from Fortnite videos that I posted back in October. And if you go back and you watch those videos, you guys can actually see the time when I was trash at the game, when I was absolutely horrible. And it's kind of cool because you can go back and kind of see what Fortnite was like before it evolved to what it is today, right? Like there weren't all these extra guns, the map was very contained, there weren't that many locations to land at, and the game was just completely different. The gameplay was completely different, right? Like building was, you were seen as a god if you could even build. So the game has evolved so much today. And if you go back and look at those videos, there's comments telling me I'm trash. There's like, but it's funny because at the time I was good, and now like because the game has evolved so much, like back then it's just like, oh my god, like that's what was considered good back then. So I kind of wanted to take you guys on a journey and share with you guys some things that should really help you guys out, especially if you're fairly new. This should help you to get better at the game quicker, and some things that I kind of wish I would have done different that would have helped me get better much quicker than I did. So the first thing that I want to point out is landing in popular areas, landing in areas where there's going to be other players is something that's extremely crucial when you're first starting out the game. Even if you're still like, you know, I know a lot of you are like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've been playing the game for a few weeks or a few months. But if you're still not as good as you want to be, it's probably because you did what most of us did when we first started playing the game, and that's to kind of just lay low. Myself, as well as all of my friends, and I'm sure almost every single one of you guys, when we first started playing the game, we were very cautious. We landed in areas that weren't that popular, so we didn't have to engage in a lot of gunfights. We hid in bushes, and we tried to kind of just hide it out until the end of the game, and we would try to get top 5. And I specifically remember back then, you know, when I got top 5, I was like, oh my god, like dude, I'm killing it. I'm getting top 5 every game. Sure, I may have only been winning like 1 out of every 20 games, but I was getting top 5, dude. Like I was good at the game. And now looking back, like I was getting 2, 1, sometimes 0 kills a game, and it's like, what's the point of getting top 5 if you're not going to kill anyone and you're rarely ever going to win the game? Aside from that, it's nowhere near as fun as it is when you're running around getting 20 kills a game or getting 15, 10 kills a game. So landing in very popular locations is something that's going to force you to get good at the game. It's going to force you to interact in gunfights. It's going to force you to learn how to build. You're going to have to learn how to loot very well and very quickly. And I think that that's good because so many people like myself, we kind of dragged, is drug a word? We kind of dragged out our time of getting good at the game. So when I say that, let's say I'm playing a Fortnite game, one specific game, and I hide in a bush, and I kind of just wait it out until the end, and I get in a gunfight at the end. Maybe I win the game, maybe I get lucky and I kill the last guy, or maybe he kills me, whatever. The game took 20 minutes. It took 20 minutes for me to get into a gunfight, to have that experience, to understand, okay, this is what a gunfight is like. If you're landing in a popular area every game, you're going to get in gunfights, multiple gunfights if you survive and win, at the very beginning of the game, which is something that's going to save you so much time in the long run. And you're going to gain so much more experience. I mean, think about if you land in a popular area every single game, over 20 minutes time, if you constantly die, let's say you're brand new and you constantly die, over those 20 minutes, you're going to get in like 7 or 8 gunfights. You're going to have plenty of gunfights in that allotted time. Whereas if you just hide the whole game, yeah, you might get 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever, but it's taking you 20 minutes to get into one gunfight, and it's going to drag your experience level out so much longer than it could be if you were just to land in popular areas and to force yourself into gunfights. Now, once you get good at the game and you become a good player, I understand that not every single game you want to land where there's going to be 100 people. I get that. Once you know what you're doing and you become, I guess you could say, a quote-unquote professional at the game, you can kind of just do whatever you want. You know, you're good. You know, you've been in tons and tons of gunfights. You know what to do. You know how to play. Everything revolves around you. Like, you know exactly what you're doing. But if you're still fairly new, or maybe you just want to get better, dude, landing in these popular areas is the key. I promise you, it's going to suck. You're going to lose a lot. You're going to die a lot. It's going to be awful. You're going to hate yourself and not want to play this game anymore. But once you get over that hump, you're going to love the game. You're going to get much better, and you're going to be a lot better than a lot of other people are in the game. And you're going to save a lot of time doing it. So trust me on that. I cannot stress that enough. Please, please, please land in these popular areas. I know you might be a noob, you might be absolutely terrible, but dying 20 times in a row in like an hour is much better than dying 20 times in a row over a course of a week. So get as much experience as you can and fight as many people as you can. The next tip that I have for you is to make sure that you have the right loot. So many people that are new don't understand what they need to have and what they don't need to have and what they need to prioritize. So that's probably the key word, prioritize. Make sure that you have the necessities, which is an assault rifle, a shotgun, and some sort of meds. So like a med kit, bandages, shields, preferably both. Some sort of like med kit, bandages, and then some sort of shield. I always make sure that I have that because, like, for me, I'm not ninja, right? I can't go the entire game without having to grab a bandage or a med kit. I always want to make sure that I have meds or shields so that if I get in a gunfight and I need to heal up real quick, maybe someone gets a lucky sniper shot on me, I have stuff to heal up and I don't have to go into a gunfight with a disadvantage with no health. So always make sure that you have an assault rifle, some sort of shotgun, and meds so that you can heal. Everything else is kind of just based on the situation that you're in, and the more that you play the game, the more you'll learn on what to have in what situations. Like a lot of times I like having a grenade launcher. Sometimes if I'm by myself and I have to take on multiple teams, I might have like a silenced pistol. Sometimes I'll have a sniper if I'm playing solo. It really just depends on the situation that you're in and what you're more comfortable with. So always make sure that you prioritize and have the right things in your inventory so you don't get stuck in a really crappy situation. The third tip that I have for you is to create mental notes. Now, what I mean by that, create mental notes on location of the next circle, direction that gunfire is coming from, or areas that have already been looted. And basically what I want to get at with this is that so many people kind of just go into the game with tunnel vision, and they're not really focused on everything around them. They're just focused on what they're doing, especially if you're new. What happens with most players that are new, they fly in and they get zoned in on one house. They go in the house, they're like grabbing stuff, they get as much as they can, and they come out of the house completely clueless. Like, okay, I have no idea where the circle's at, I have no idea where people are. When you're flying in, you need to see where other people are landing. Let's say, for example, I'm going to like Pleasant Park or Retail Row. You need to have an idea of where other people are going to be. Okay, this guy's landing at the Modern House, so I know that someone's going to loot that. Maybe he's going to come here next. Someone's landing on the other side of the park or the other side of the town, so someone's going to be over there. I need to be prepared for that. If you don't pay attention to that kind of stuff and you come out of the house that you land out completely looted up and ready to go, you're going to have no idea where people are. You might, oh, shoot, maybe no one's here. I'm going to go over there and loot this house. Little did you know, 6 people landed at that same house. So always be aware of your surroundings. Understand what's happening. Another one, pay attention to gunfire. I know a lot of times people just hear gunfire and they don't care. But you need to be aware of that so that you know, okay, maybe if I don't want to attack them, that's fine. But there's a team over there, so I need to be aware that there's a team in that direction, or at least 2 teams. So there's going to be people over there, so be careful. Don't just run over there aimlessly, not expecting someone to be there. The next tip that I have for you guys is to gather plenty of materials. I recommend 600, and I think Ninja and a lot of those top dudes always make sure that they have like 500 or 600 materials so that they can build. I would highly recommend you prioritize wood over bricks and steel, bricks over steel. Brick and wood are basically the things that you need. If you're playing, getting metal or steel is not a bad thing at all. I wouldn't spend a lot of time trying to get it. That is generally something that you get from other people that you kill, and can use that steel to build bases later on in the games. Don't ever panic build with steel, because it's going to get shot down so much quicker than wood would, or even brick, because it doesn't build anywhere near as quick. So you place a steel wall, which after is all built up, it will take 1,000,000 bullets, but if someone shoots it as soon as you put it up, it's going to go down in one shot. So prioritize wood and brick. Make sure that you have plenty of it, so that if someone does start shooting you, or you do need to build a base fairly quickly, you have plenty of materials to do so. You don't want to get stuck in a gunfight and not have anything to build with. And I'm talking to you guys that don't like building. I know there's a lot of you out there that don't like building, and I was the same way. When you're new to the game and you're just trying to get used to the way it plays, building is something that just seems absolutely ridiculous, right? Like, I don't need to build. I can play without it. And back then, when the game was new, hardly anyone built, right? Like, no one, everyone just kind of got in the gunfight. Building wasn't really a thing. Now it's like, if you don't build during any gunfight, like if even the smallest thing happens, if you're not building, you're bad. That's just how the Fortnite society is. Like, you have to build in every situation. So make sure you have plenty of materials so that you can build, and you'll be fine. The last tip that I have for you guys is to play solo duos and solo squads. This is very easy to understand. Basically, what you're doing is putting yourself in a situation where you're going to have to fight more than one person at a time without having to rely on your teammates. Playing with teammates is fun. I do it all the time. But if you're trying to get better at the game, relying on other players is something that's not going to benefit you that much. Sure, you may get experience with teamwork, but you're not going to get better individually unless you're taking on more than one person at a time. Or even, I mean, if you're playing solo and taking one person on at a time, like don't get me wrong, like you're getting experience, you're going to get better. But I mean, just like playing against two players at the same time when they're both focused on you is something that's going to make you much better than when you have a team of 3 other guys and you're shooting 1 or 2 people. So put yourself at the disadvantage like that so that you can force yourself to practice doing that, so that later on down the road, if you come across a situation where maybe your teammate or teammates die and you have to take on maybe 2 or 3 guys, you might have a better chance because you've done that before. You have experience doing that. So something that I really enjoy doing is jumping into a duo game and just doing my own thing, right? Like going away from my teammate and basically just doing a solo duos. And I feel extremely comfortable taking on 2 guys at one time. I'm still trying to get better at killing entire squads, and I've done it a lot, and I feel the reason for that is I played the game a lot. I have like 340 wins or something ridiculous. I don't know, but I've played the game enough to where I can actually have a chance against a squad because I know like what to do. I've played the game enough. But something that, again, I really enjoy doing is solo duos because I feel extremely comfortable taking on 2 guys at one time. And for those of you that are new, the more you do it, you'll get used to it and you'll be just like me. So anyway, guys, that's for the video. This is basically how to go from garbage to God at Fortnite Battle Royale. If you guys have anything else to add, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Can we be friends?